everybody. Welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and this is The Daily Show, where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is your editor-in-chief for AMC Movie News, John Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the show, coming to you live from right here at the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California. My voice is almost gone from yelling and screaming at the Super Bowl last night. That was an awesome game. Thanks for joining us today.
Also here is AMC's Mark Ellis.
And I said that if they don't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch right now, I'll shave my beard, and I lied.
And AMC's Christian Harloff.
Why would you pass?
And writer-director John Schnepp.
I still don't know what these guys are talking about. I was just in my office editing, and I heard people yelling, and I was like, oh, well, I guess somebody won something, and then I heard about it. So.
Hey guys, listen, before we get going on the rest of stuff, and I got to bring up my calendar because I'm actually forgetting the exact date. For those of you who watch AMC Movie Talk and live in the great city of Atlanta, myself, John Schnepp, Amy Rose Eisenbach, and Dennis Zen, we are coming to Atlanta, and we are going to be doing a live in-person AMC Movie Talk on Tuesday, February the 10th. From one of our AMC theaters in Atlanta. We will give you the details on that in the coming days about which theater and how you can reserve a spot if you'd like to come to it. But just know that if you're in the Atlanta area and you'd like to come down and meet us and participate in an AMC Movie Talk with us as a studio audience, that's the day to circle on your calendar, and we will give you more details later.
All right, the weekend box office results are in. American Sniper has held on to the #1 spot for the third week in a row, making $31.8 million and making it the highest-grossing film on Super Bowl weekend of all time. The film has now made $249 million at the domestic box office. In the #2 spot is the family film Paddington, making just over $8.5 million in its third weekend of release, bringing its worldwide total to almost $200 million and over $50 million domestically. The third spot went to the new film Project Almanac, bringing in $8.5 million. In fourth is the new Kevin Costner film Black or White, making $6.4 million, and rounding out the top 5 is the Jennifer Lopez film The Boy Next Door, making $6.1 million. Also debuting this past weekend was the film The Loft, which came in the 10th spot at the box office, making just slightly over $2.8 million. John, what stands out to you about these box office results?
Well, I mean, obviously you got to start with American Sniper, breaking the record for most money ever made at the box office on a Super Bowl Sunday, just by the most narrow of margins. Beating, I think it made like 31.8. The former record was 31.2 or something like that. Does anybody want to take a guess what it was if you didn't look it up already?
Didn't look it up.
It was the Miley Cyrus movie.
Wow.
That concert movie starts. That was the former record holder. So that great legs for that film. It just keeps on rolling and keeps on steaming along. And also, obviously, The Loft. The Loft is a movie that was finished shooting in 2011. And it did not fare so well. I mean, they delayed this film and delayed this film and delayed this film. We now know why. And then when they did finally settle on a release date, they put like no marketing behind it whatsoever. Just hit it ever so neatly under a pillow somewhere. So really shakes. I was looking forward to that movie a lot, but those are the things that stand out to me. What about you, Christian?
Paddington. I love that Paddington jumped in at #2. I love that. I mean, that shows you good word of mouth, and the fact that, because it's funny that to hear Sinead say domestically and talk about it here. To be fair to that movie, domestically for that movie was when it came out in like December or whenever in London, and it crushed there and it crushed here. And I'm glad it transferred over because it's if you haven't seen Paddington, go see it. It's awesome.
Yeah, made over $200 million now.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Wow.
And you know, American Sniper doing what it's done is just it's insane. I had a conversation this morning with my father-in-law, just figuring out like why it made so much. Like it's kind of a phenomenon of how it's made as much as it has. And then I'm glad Almanac made 8.5. I would have liked to see him make a little more because I thought it was going to be terrible, and I actually enjoyed watching the movie. So,
Schnepp?
Yeah, for me, it's a Black or White. I'm shocked that it made that much money with almost no publicity. I mean,
yeah, very little publicity, right?
And I'm super happy that Paddington went back to #2. What an enjoyable film. It's a little shocking to me, the American Sniper craze, where it's just like. It's just growing fervor. I think it'll be #1 on next week too. I don't know. It just feels weird.
Well, it's got to contend against Jupiter Ascending next week, so I don't know.
It'll be #1.
You think so?
Yes.
I think Jupiter Ascending is going to take the #1 spot. Yeah, what do you think, Mark?
I wouldn't have been as surprised with American Sniper if it wasn't the Super Bowl weekend, because, like you said, the previous record holder was a Miley Cyrus film, which caters to the opposite demographic of hardcore football fans.
Right.
So not only do you have guys, like it feels like a movie where, you know, man's going to want to go see American Sniper. No, everybody wants to see this movie, because I think the controversy that just keeps all these personalities on television are coming out and talking about this film, whether they support it, whether they disagree with every message that it ever would want to send. People are talking about it, and that's why it's making so much money. I agree with Christian. I think Project Almanac is a little bit disappointing, because I like that movie, and it's a cool found footage style film where it's not a horror film. It's more like Chronicle than it is like The Devil's Due. So I think it's a neat movie, and you should check it out. And Paddington, obviously, it's probably one of my favorites of the year so far.
Project Almanac also didn't do a good job with that film, reminding people when that damn film was coming out. Because remember, it was supposed to come out before, right? And then it got delayed. So then people hear about it again. I don't think they did a good enough job marketing, making sure people understood when this film actually opens. I think a lot of people still don't know it's even in theaters.
I didn't until like Sunday. I was like maybe going to see a movie yesterday, and then I was like, oh, what? But but I'm planning on seeing Project Almanac. I've been waiting for it, so let's
One
go see
question, though, with that movie, though, is that there's virtual unknowns throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a found footage movie. How much did it really cost to make? Not that 8.8 is going to cover all your costs, but with everything that happens down the line with Blu-ray and maybe next weekend, they could probably break even from this movie, from the fact that it probably cost nothing.
All right, what's next?
As mentioned, the Super Bowl was yesterday, and almost as anticipated as the game itself are the commercials and trailers that play during it. New spots for Kingsman, The Secret Service, Avengers 2, Ted 2, Furious 7, Jurassic World, Tomorrowland, SpongeBob, Seventh Son, Unfinished Business, 50 Shades of Grey, Terminator Genesis, and Pitch Perfect 2 were all featured. Schnepp, out of all of the Super Bowl spots, what were your 3 favorites?
Definitely Kingsman, which I've been trying to catch up on all this stuff. I watched it just like right before the show, and it was so much fun. I watched it 3 times in a row. I just really cannot wait. And me and Christian were talking about how it's an R-rated film. It's like props to Matthew Vaughn, for doing that. It's like so that one, Jurassic World, was really fun. It definitely showed a little bit more of the movie. Now you get it. It's like they're trying to bring back a little bit of that flavor from the first one, like the one giant monster that they're hiding from. So we're probably going to see a couple of riffs on like the pond moving or whatever, but water shaking, stuff that you'll see that they're going to grab that. And Seventh Son, just kidding, not Seventh Son. What was Tomorrowland. How much fun was that? Now I really cannot wait to go to Tomorrowland. It really is like they're setting it up, and that was a good trailer for me, because it was like, get ready for the ultimate ride. It's like a little bit of it was like, all right, we get it, Tomorrowland. It's going to be at Disney World. It's like they're setting it up for a ride, but it actually looks like a really fun film. So those are my top 3.
My top 3 were, and I got to change it now because I found something very unfortunate out. Kingsman. Every day I get more and more excited for this film, and more and more bitter that I haven't seen it yet. Actually, it's just funny because it's a Matthew Vaughn film, and I love Matthew Vaughn, but when they first started talking about it, it was, even though I love Matthew Vaughn. But the more I'm seeing, and you see more Vaughnisms in it, I am so stoked, and I thought all the trailers and the TV spot was great. The other one for me was Jurassic World as well. Because even though it's not that different from the trailer we saw, it gave us that one key shot. Chris in there actually training the velociraptors. And that was cool. Yeah. That was really cool. Now, the other one, that might have been my #1 actually, was Ted 2 with Tom Brady. That commercial was awesome. And it's not just because I'm a New England Patriots fan, but when they go in there and because they're trying to get Tom Brady's sperm so Ted can have a baby with his wife, and they sneak into Tom Brady's house and he's in bed, and they lift up his bed sheets, and this holy light comes out from under the sheets. Oh, and Ted's like, and that's when it's at rest. and then he wakes up. I thought it was such a funny commercial until I realized that's not in the movie. Because they start the commercial with footage from the movie, and they cut it together to make it look like that Tom Brady thing is a scene from the movie, and then it makes perfect sense, so you add that in for the Super Bowl. And then I found out it's not actually in the movie, so I was so terribly disappointed in that. So I'm actually going to remove that out of my spot, and surprisingly, I'm going to go to Pitch Perfect 2. I was very pleasantly surprised by the first Pitch Perfect, and I grin for every ad spot I've seen for Pitch Perfect 2. I think they're marketing really well, so I'm good with it. What do you think, Mark?
I was going to go Jurassic World at the top one, simply for the pterodactyl scene where the pterodactyl picks off. That's
right. That was awesome. That was really great.
Chris and I were watching that, and we're like, yeah, this is good. Okay, some new stuff. It's cool to watch Pratt train. Oh my God, that pterodactyl stole a person. That was amazing. And then I just found out this news about Ted 2 10 seconds ago, that Tom Brady scene. Interesting, though, when they aired that, Tom Brady wasn't exactly playing like the golden boy. When we came back from break, that's when Tom Brady turned back into Tom Brady and brought his team back from a 10-point deficit. I'm also going to say at number 3 is a guilty pleasure, but I enjoyed the trailer, was the Fast 7 one, because the absolute lunacy with they drive a car out of one building
on the 60th floor
and it crashes into another building. You talk about jumping the shark. The new term is going to be building the car. That's what they did. They buildinged a car into another building.
You guys took everything I was going to say, but I'll say the one thing with Tomorrowland, it's still one of my most anticipated. There were a couple new shots that just didn't do enough for me. I mean, because I can't wait for the whole trailer. But Jurassic World is, for everything you guys said, as far as it looks like the first movie on steroids. It really does. And I know a lot of people are talking. I'm with you on the Raptor thing. I think that's cool because we were in that first trailer we ever saw. He's driving with, he's on the motorcycle and they're driving next to him. Did he train him? And the answer is yes. Some people are saying, you can't train raptors. First of all, you don't know that. Second of all, it takes place, you got to remember how it takes place in the future.
Third of all, they're not real.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's like you don't know what kind of science there is, so get away from that. But as far, I'm with you. The Fast movie for me, it's so silly, and I can't wait to see it. It's absolutely beyond stupid with going through all the buildings, but I'm just like, I wish I was in that car too. So those are the and then the Kingsman. Yeah. Every single thing I see, everything you hear. Matthew Vaughn is such a ballsy filmmaker that he can make a rated R movie like this that no one has heard of this property, and it's going to be awesome. I hope, but it's going to be awesome.
All right, folks, we reached that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of us, Sinead's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Sinead, what do we got?
It has been announced that actress Rose Byrne will return to reprise her role of Moira McTaggart in the upcoming XMen Apocalypse. Byrne first played McTaggart in the 2011 film X-Men First Class. Apocalypse writer Simon Kinberg said the following: "She's a significant character in the movie. We ended First Class with Charles having wiped portions of her memory of her experience with the X-Men. They are essentially strangers to her when she meets them. It's certainly a rich relationship that we started to dig into in First Class and would like to mine more in this one." Christian, buy or sell the return of Byrne as McTaggart to X-Men Apocalypse?
I buy it. I buy it not just because I like Rose Byrne. I like it that it ties this trilogy, if you will, together. And you really have her character and the way they had a nice chemistry, her and Xavier, and to see them come back and I like that he mentioned, they're not going to just, we said that he pulled memories, but she'll remember. It's like, no, she doesn't remember. We're gonna play off that storyline when we get into the 80s. They're gonna age her a little bit too, and I think it could play really well. And I'm glad to see that Kinberg's one of those writers that he's gonna pay attention to the characters before. How do I loop that in to make it work? And with his other team of writers, and I think that and she's so talented too. Rose Byrne, everything she's in, so I buy it.
Step?
Yeah, I enthusiastically buy it. I love Rose Byrne. She was incredible in Neighbors last year. She does
so
no wrong.
Good in that
Any role
movie.
she's in, she elevates the movie. So I was a little bummed that she wasn't in Days of Future Past, to be honest with you, because I knew they were merging First Class with the old crew of the X-Men. So I'm extra excited that they're bringing her back and paying attention to the role that she played in First Class. So I can't see anything but the X-Men Apocalypse just got better. So.
For me, it's also a big buy. And going back to what you mentioned about them tying off this first trilogy, because Kinberg's talked about they're going to go forward after this too. But in tying together the first trilogy, her role was as such in First Class that I think she would have been noticeable by her absence again if we went into this. Right. With X-Men Days of Future Past, I get it because you have so many cast members from both of the timelines, if you will, in there that maybe it would have gotten a little bit crowded to have her there too. But now that we're going into this, I feel like you need to have her there. I think it's a great move to bring her back.
I buy it. It's not an enthusiastic buy for me. It's like I buy it. I like Rose Byrne. She was good in X-Men. I don't think it would have been a tragedy if she was recast with somebody else. What I will say about Rose Byrne is that not only does she elevate films that she's in, though, what I like about her is that she has a grounded quality to her, to where she makes the action feel more realistic. Where you have all these mutants surrounding her, she's going to be great in that role. Like, she was the best part of, admittedly, an awful movie, Annie. Because I felt like she was being real in that film, as well as in Neighbors, too. So if she can be good in Annie, she's going to be great in an X-Men film.
All right, what's next?
In the same interview, Kinberg, who also wrote the upcoming Fantastic Four movie, seemed to suggest the door is open for Fox to cross over the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. He said the following: "The reboot of Fan 4 really needed to work in and of itself. We were doing something pretty radical with the tone of the movie. If we wanted to find a way to connect them to the X-Men, we could. There's a lot of precedent from the comics." Mark, after reading Kinberg's comments, buy or sell this statement: the X-Men and New Fantastic Four will cross over at some point.
I gotta sell it right now. I don't think you can do this right now, Fantastic Four. I think you don't look at the team schedule until you actually make the cut. Okay, this film has to be good in amongst itself. I like that comment, but I'm gonna sell that it's ever at one point gonna cross over with the X-Men. I don't think it's gonna happen. I know they're both 20th Century Fox properties, I believe, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
First of all, I gotta mention, I always get a big kick out of the pictures that Ray puts together for it. This is a great picture.
That's really good.
I buy it. I completely buy it. I think one of the reasons they believed they could reboot Fantastic Four was because they understood the potential that we can connect this to an even larger universe. I do not believe DC copies Marvel. I do believe Fox is copying Marvel a little bit, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. I think they do some great things with this, but I also think they're leaving themselves wiggle room. They're gonna let this film stand on its own, this first Fantastic Four film. Completely let it stand on its own. But hearing Kinberg's comments, while he does not say it directly, I believe the message underneath is, oh yeah, we got plans down the road. So I'm personally going to buy it. Mark? Or Christian? Sorry. I was just talking to Mark.
Yeah, I buy it. I buy it also because also it's coming from Kinberg, who is involved in the X-Men, is involved in Fantastic Four. I think that the plan is, if Fantastic...
There's a reason they got him to write both.
100%. Yeah. And if this is financial. If Fantastic Four puts out another trailer that is good and gets people into the theaters and can, even if the movie turns out to be not great, but it does okay. Tons of superhero movies have done that. They've been look at Iron Man 2. I know it's coming off of Iron Man 1, but then what you can do, instead of going right into Fantastic Four 2, then spin into X-Men, into the next one, and then get some more interest. And that's why when you finally push out a Fantastic Four 2 sequel, then you will get more dollars. Now you've tied in your franchise. So as long as the first one does well, and they gear it up and they market it right, I think that you absolutely have to buy these comments.
Yeah, I buy it. I buy it for two reasons. Simon Kinberg. Two names. 2 words. Kinberg and Kinberg Associates. No, I mean, because he's writing both of them. So for him to kind of be the architect of how he's putting the Fantastic Four into the X-Men world, but sideways instead of right there, I think it's great. And I think, I'm really looking forward to the Fantastic Four movie now. After seeing that teaser trailer, I'm very excited about the film and the possibilities of the film. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, and it tastes good. So I can't wait to, I'm going to just float on that little cloud that I'm on right now.
Well, look, I think from a Fantastic Four perspective, it makes all the sense in the world to be able to unite it with X-Men. But I think as far as X-Men goes, there's so many stories I'd rather see them tackle than have them team up with a different. But
you don't know that
Fantastic
yet.
Four.
You don't know that.
I don't know that. I'll say this: if the Fantastic Four appear in an X-Men film coming up, Christian Harloff will eat his shoe.
No. If the sequel, and I'll tell you what, by the way, if that sequel, if the X-Men tie in, that sequel of Fantastic Four 2 is not staying there.
I gotta get a ruling on that.
Shoot.
I think it's going to be Fantastic Four 2 will be its own standalone sequel. I think X-Men will keep making its own standalone sequels, and they're going to just make another variation, like an Avengers-style film that has all of them in it together. Why not?
By the way, I want a t-shirt that says, I drank the Kool-Aid and it tastes good. All right, what's next?
It's being reported that Ray and Django Unchained actor Jamie Foxx and True Detective and Source Code star Michelle Monaghan will star in the upcoming Open Road Films production called Sleepless Night. Sleepless Night is the story of Vincent Downs, played by Jamie Foxx, a seemingly corrupt Las Vegas cop. When gangsters kidnap his son as ransom for a shipment of cocaine he stole, Downs races to save his son's life without getting caught by internal affairs and before the mobsters actually discover that he's actually lost the goods. Monaghan's. Monaghan plays Officer Jennifer Bryant, an internal affairs agent investigating Downs, who ultimately has to decide which side of the law she's on. John, buy or sell the sounds of Sleepless Night?
I'm going to actually buy this, not necessarily because of the description of the movie itself, because it sounds like it could be very, very generic, but there's some elements in there that could be exploited really well and turn in a great film. I like the cast. There were guys for me where there was a period of time where I was not into Jamie Foxx, but he got better and better and better and better, and all of a sudden now he's an actor to look forward to when he's not doing any.
Or Electro. Or
Electro.
Right.
And then Michelle Monaghan, look, if you understand this reference, good for you. Whenever I hear her name, in my own head, I just say Miranda. If you know that reference, good for you. So yeah, I like this overall together as a package. I'm not jumping up and down about it, but it sounds like it has promise, so I'm going to buy it.
I'm going to buy it. It's a movie about cocaine, so it should be called Sleepless Night. I mean, what I like about this the most is the casting of Jamie Foxx, because I am so excited about any time that dude gets multiple things to do in one film. I like that he's kind of a good guy and a bad guy. Nobody walks the fence on that character study better than somebody like Jamie Foxx. The Michelle Monaghan casting, I think, is fine to me. That seems like the weak link in the movie, not because of her, but because that character is wondering, oh, well, I work for internal affairs, but now I kind of sympathize with this dude, too. You got to really make me buy that in order to make me like the movie. But as of right now, it's a cautious buy.
Schnapp?
I'm going to buy it because of Michelle Monaghan. When I hear her name, I just think Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh,
I love that
yeah.
film. That's when I first was introduced to her. I think she's a great actress. Jamie Foxx, if he's rolling like a Collateral style deal, then yes, but unfortunately, like his last few roles, I've given up on him as an actor. So to me, it's like he's got a lot to prove, at least for me to be interested in seeing another movie that he's in.
A bunch of cynics. This is a huge buy for me. I love the sound of this movie. Yeah, does it sound a little generic? Sure, but you know what? I'm glad that it's, and nothing against him, but I'm glad it's not Denzel in this role, because normally you think Denzel would do a role like this, and to have Jamie Foxx do it, I want to see him play a darker role. I want to see him play a dude who, you know, he's a crooked cop. He's basically playing like the Training Day cop who's got to go after his son. That's cool to me, and to see not just, you know, a Tommy Lee Jones type, but now a Monaghan type going after him. That's interesting, and that she's got to kind of tie up. I'm very curious. We don't have a director on it yet, right? Yes, no?
I have not. If there is, I have not heard the name. If there is,
it's not a big name or anything. But regardless, I like the sound of this, and I think it could be a smaller thing, because I think I'm with you in the fact that Electro kind of made you go, oh, come on, man, you're so much better than this. Because he was so great in Django.
Yes.
So great in that movie. And to see him go back let's go smaller here. And I'm excited about this movie.
All right, folks, we reached that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, we're going to save a minute or two at the end of the show to take some of your live Twitter questions, so if you're watching us live right now, tweet into @AMC Movie News, and Sinead will pick out a couple questions for the end of the show. But for now, let's get to your Mailbag questions. So, Sinead, what do we have?
Nathan Pedersen writes, hello AMC crew, I was wondering what you felt were the worst movies you've ever seen.
Much like everything else in film, worst film is subjective. It depends on how a film strikes you. To me, the most thank God that picture's there. Yeah. The three most bottom of the barrel films I have ever seen: Catwoman, Battlefield Earth, and The Highlander Part 2.
The Quickening?
For three different reasons, for all three, but these are just an elite level of garbage that Hollywood has churned out. Anyway, Mark, what about you?
I like that term, elite level of garbage. Yeah. That is awesome. For me, I'm going to go with From Justin to Kelly. I'm going to go with The Room, The Room is something where it's almost so bad it's fun to celebrate.
It transcends good or bad.
It transcends any sort of ranking. Right. My worst film of all time to me is, I hate when you take a franchise and you just completely flush it down the toilet. Nothing epitomizes crap like Caddyshack Part 2.
Oh,
it is simply taking one of the best comedies of all time and making it into the worst, just torturous experiences a young man can possibly have in their lives. It is, and I feel bad for Dan Aykroyd in that movie, trying to kind of be like Bill Murray in the original Caddyshack. It's like, dude, really, they stop the cameras and let this guy go home.
Schnapp, what about you? Worst ones?
Boy, you know what? It is so subjective, because I do like a lot of garbage cinema. You know, just like when it's just super crappy, I'm like, it's elevated. Like The Room to me, it's a masterpiece of garbage. It's amazing. Yeah. It's for all the wrong reasons. But you know, like if I wanted to be really serious, I'd say Son of the Mask is one of those painful. Yeah. Like I can't keep watching it. Like it's like a Clockwork Orange. Like the eyes, you know, one of those moments. More recently, I was just trying to think, maybe like recent films, The Counselor. I know it's a fun one to go to, but it's such a bad film. I mean, I remember sitting in the theater astonished at how horribly written and badly put together. It's like who wasn't on drugs on this film when they were putting it together throughout the entire process, all the way down to editing. Just like, I don't know, slap a poster together, just falling forward, just rolling into the abyss.
Surprised you stayed awake.
The reason I stayed awake is because I was contemplating leaving the whole time. I was like, can I leave now? And I'll make a tie with the third one. Dracula Untold and I, Frankenstein.
Nice.
Both some amazing, iconic horror icons destroyed by horrible filmmaking, stupid writing, just bad decisions left and right. I, Frankenstein edges out Dracula Untold as being crappier, but hey, that's me.
There's something to take off your
By the way, I love Battlefield Earth. Leverage! Leverage! Breathe mask! Put on your breathe mask.
Something you can take off your Netflix queue or put them on there. You got Nothing But Trouble, which is Dan Aykroyd won't even talk about it.
Oh, come on.
He won't even
John
talk.
Candy's funny
He
for
won't
a
even
second.
talk about it. He hates it so much. Geely, obviously. Pluto Nash. Piranha 3DD. Some Stallone and Dolly Parton in Rhinehouse. That's a gem. 88.
Rhinestone.
Rhinestone. What did I say? Rhinehouse? Rhinestone. Sorry. It's exactly.
That would be a good sequel.
Rhinestone.
Rhinehouse.
Directed by Rodriguez.
88 minutes. Jack and Jill, Batman and Robin, Bucky Larson, and the stinker of all stinkers, Freddy Got Fingered, minus the Daddy, do you have some sausage?
That's a list.
I feel like I need a bath after talking about these movies.
That was something
Let's watch
else.
Battlefield Earth.
All right, what's next?
Sahil Charania writes, "Hello AMC crew, love the show and watch daily. My question is regarding the Academy Awards. I watch them every year and for me it's like the Super Bowl. Having said that, I only care about half of the categories and find the middle portion of the telecast quite boring. Do you think the Academy would benefit if they only televised the juicier categories, actor, director, picture, and took a few moments to announce the winner of the less popular ones, documentary, short, and sound mixing, for example?"
I have said for a really long time, because the Academy Awards, it's the highlight of on my calendar every year. There's Christmas, the Academy Awards. I look for it more than I do my birthday, more than anything else. I love the Academy Awards. But just because I love something, that doesn't mean I stick my head in the sand about things that don't work. And I've said for a long time, there are several ways they can really fix up the Academy Awards. Number one, drastically reduce the number of musical montages you do. Other than the in memoriam segments, get rid of 90% of the montage things. It's like, okay, I get it. But you also, the other one is get rid of best song. Get that out of there. Seriously, something that plays in a movie for 2 minutes of a movie, but will take up more time on screen of the Academy Awards than Best Picture does. Because every song gets nominated takes up 2 minutes of screen time. Really 10 minutes of the Academy Awards dedicated to a completely irrelevant category. Anyway, I'm not going to go off on that too much.
Too late.
But this idea, this notion that you bring up of, look, I think there's 26 categories, 26, 27, 25, something like that. It is too many. Look, the Academy Awards have a second night that happens before the Academy Awards, where they give out a lot of the other technical awards and things like that. That I believe, frankly, gauging the interest of the vast majority of Americans and audiences around the world, I think there's a lot of these categories that probably should be shuffled into that. That's not being disrespectful any more than it's being disrespectful to those other categories that are already on that secondary evening. They're, incredible artists that do great work and deserve recognition, but you need to take up nationally broadcast airtime when one of the problems of the Academy Awards is the unbearable length of them. When really you should be spending more time focusing on the stuff that the wider audiences understand. Yeah, short animated. I'm a big fan of a lot of short animated, but that is one you can probably move to a second night. Short documentary subject. That's not disrespect to the people who put in the art of short documentaries, but maybe 1% of the people watching the Academy Awards that night have watched those movies. Move that off into a separate night. I just think it's something that would move the evening along a lot faster, lets you dedicate more time to the things that people are tuning actually in to watch. So yeah, I love the idea from the viewer. I like it a lot.
I do too, but don't forget about advertising money. So you make it a little longer. That's why they do it, because the audience will certainly benefit by it. I agree with all of what you said, except best song actually, because you also got to realize
a lot of people disagree with me on that. A lot of people do.
Only because today, in the age that we live in, with YouTube and everything too, when that performance goes on YouTube, that's more recognition for the movie. That's more recognition for the artist that's in it, because people will be looking up that performance, and you will see a lot of hits, and maybe people go, oh, haven't seen that movie, and it's more advertising on a different platform than just on the actual broadcast. But everything else, I'm with you on. I think that you could move a lot of those smaller, because everyone does that. If you have it on back time, all right, fast forward through this, great, I'll read who won later, or they don't care. Like my mother-in-law, just go to the next award. That's what's going to happen. So
That's a dead-on impression, by the way.
so that's what I would say.
I want to meet your mother-in-law. I want to go and see the Oscars. Does she
That's
really
pretty
talk
much
about
it, yeah.
I think they could do something. I agree. I mean, that's a good idea to like kind of move some of the other ones into the unseen cast. The unseen. Technical achievement for strange movements or whatever. Everyone's getting these weird Oscars. I want an Oscar for baking cookies. I don't know what other. I mean, I know it's all technical awards, but if you throw the shorts in there and you throw a couple of the other ones in, and then do kind of a really flavory recap. That's maybe 3 minutes of a cool montage where this one won this, and like have have it all exciting to watch. I mean, because technically that's what we're watching the Oscars for, is watching. It's not just a list. And next dry, boring list of let me read 5 names and then this one. It's you're viewing it, you're watching it, so you want to see clips. Maybe you didn't see all the movies, so you show a clip of all the films. You don't have to technically show all the clips from all the things that are nominated when you move all of the things over into that other unseen technical episode.
I think this is their one night, though. I think you let them have it, make the Oscars long, keep it long. I like the montages.
But
I like
what
when the
about-
President of the Academy speaks.
But
like
what
that?
about all those
He's
other?
the
What about
president
all
of
those
the
other
Academy.
categories that are already moved to the second? Should you
Yeah.
move all those and bring them
I
into
feel
the thing
bad.
too?
I feel bad when they're like, "Hey, by the way, we had another ceremony that we didn't invite anybody to because it's a
Because
bunch
no
of
one was
nerds."
going to go.
I
You know
feel
what?
bad
2
for
nights
those
of
guys.
Oscars. Why not air that weird invisible technical one with the person like, I made the strange creature.
Because even if 1% of people like saw an animated short, right, and
Right.
they didn't care about it, when it airs on the Oscars, it gets more eyeballs to something like that. So I think these people work hard and give them their one night of recognition. Okay, it's not the Super Bowl, because at the end of the Academy Awards, they hand the trophy off. They don't try to throw it.
No, but what the question is saying is move some of the segments to the other. I think there's already a technical night. Just move some of them over, and you can actually have 2 nights of Oscars. One might be more important to others. For other.
All right, folks, I know I said we would do some Twitter questions, but we have run out of time. We will make sure we save some time for them tomorrow, maybe have a few extra minutes for Twitter questions tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and of course, your movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video, and you'll find a link to our podcast feed. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, click the thumbs up button, and I want to thank the guys sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting to my left, Mr. Mark Ellis. Mark, where can people find you online?
You can find me online. Sorry. At 5150 Ellis on Twitter and Instagram this weekend. Side Splitters in Tampa. Come out, laugh.
Mr. Christian Harloff. Christian, where can people find you?
At Christian Harloff, Twitter and Instagram. A lot of people have been asking me about Jedi Council when that's coming back. It is. Wait for updates, wait for updates.
And the man who made me drink the Kool-Aid and like it, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
Leverage! You can find me at TDOSLWH and at John Schnepp on Twitter and Instagram. I need my breathe mask. Must find the golds to have my leverage.
I don't understand what he just said.
Ape man, get in the craft. Leverage.
And of course, our
Ape Man.
lovely host today, Miss Sinead DeFries. Sinead, where can people find you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at Sinead DeFries and at thatsoSinead.com.
And you can find me on the various social media networks, Twitter and Facebook, at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name's John Campia for AMC Movie News. And until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.